Hi everybody, I'm Scott Munson, Superintendent in the Marshall Public School District. Glad to be here today and have an opportunity to talk technology with Todd and Karen. I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves in a second, but just grateful for the opportunity, like I said, to hopefully share some information and inform folks who are watching this program about our technology program in the Marshall Public School District and everything exciting going on with that. So Karen, if you want to just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your name and what you do and your experience in our school district, and then we'll have Todd do the same thing.
Okay. My name is Karen Lundgren. I am the Technology Integration Specialist for the district, which essentially equates to working with the teachers to use technology in the classroom. This is my 4th year at Marshall Public Schools.
Super. Thanks, Karen.
And hi, my name is Todd Pickthorn. My title is District Network Services Coordinator. I work with all technology throughout the district. I've been in the district since '99, so this will be my 20th year.
Wow. You must get a pin this year then, right, Todd?
I think so.
Well, we're really glad that both of you work in our school district and do all the important things that you do, and I appreciate you being here today to share some information with our community about technology, and that's a good starting point. So when we talk about technology, we have a pretty thorough understanding of what that all entails, but in general, I think when people hear technology, they think of laptops and iPads and things like that, but when we talk technology, what all does that encompass? How would we explain that to folks?
Yep. Well, in my opinion, when we talk about technology, it's not just about the personal devices. It's a process of facilitating the students using multiple tools to enhance their learning experience. There are a wide variety of tools available for students to perform research and enhance their learning. Not only does technology include their devices, but it includes resources such as Google Expedition, where they can go on a virtual field trip to different parts of the world. Video creation and production tools that they're using in all of our buildings. 3D printing, where they're designing and printing things that they're using in the high school and in our middle school. Interactive smart boards and programming tools, to name a few. In addition, when we talk technology, we're also talking about the infrastructure, the hardware, the software, the training and instruction, the online resources and curriculum, and of course support that goes along with that. It's really all about using these tools available to teach and deliver curriculum differently in our classrooms. Using these tools to foster or enhance creativity and critical thinking in the classroom.
Excellent job, Karen. Anything you would add to that, or do you think that's pretty comprehensive?
I think that was, yep.
It is really comprehensive, and Todd, you talked about some really important things. The device is a part of it, and the software that the devices are running, the support from staff, the professional development, the different programs and options and technology that are a part of it, Google Expedition, Schoology, Blooms. I mean, there's a variety of different things. And then the infrastructure itself, obviously, and I don't know that this has happened, knock on wood, but when the Wi-Fi goes down, everybody panics a little bit, and we know from seeing the data how busy our devices are and our networks are and everything like that. So comprehensively, that's really what we're going to talk about today and try to hone in on a couple things. Let's talk about some changes over the past few years. What significant changes have been made, and maybe why were those made?
Well, our one-to-one program, which includes a device for every student, K-12, was fully implemented in the 2016-17 school year using a 3-year rollout plan. We've seen big changes in our digital curriculum resources as a result of that device implementation. Many of our textbooks now and classroom resources are available in digital formats, which therefore the students have accessible to them anytime, anywhere on their devices. We've also moved to cloud-based services that include our learning management system, Schoology, as well as our Office 365 suite of applications, which together, those facilitate anytime, anywhere access to learning, as well as providing a whole new level of collaboration. I think those changes were implemented. I'll go back to our district mission statement, which says to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success, and that's what we're doing. And as a technology department, we also have a goal of ultimately to use technology to accelerate learning.
Absolutely, and that's always our focus. I know at the last school board meeting, one of you had shared that we now have over or close to 2 million files on the cloud, and I kind of, when you said that, I kind of leaned back and thought, wow, that's pretty significant. But I think that's been a good change for us to have the security and the consistency, knowing that those are going to be there for us instead of worrying about, say, a server in our district that everything is stored on crashing, or an individual computer or whatnot. So the changes that we've made have been very, you folks have all done a nice job and trying to keep up with the times and provide the best options for our kids and our staff. And I know you've all done a really nice job about that. Program-wise, and we've kind of touched on it a little bit, and maybe you've talked about it in each of your responses. One of the things that I feel with technology never takes the place of great teaching and learning, right? It's a way to make it even better, though, and to support it, enhance it, and really supplement it, but not take the place of it. From a program perspective, are there some other things that we would want to share that might be important to people, do you think?
Yeah, I'll start with kind of the Marshall Public Schools technology vision. MPS students, parents, and educators will use communication and information technologies to advance learning and teaching in preparation for a technology-rich global society. And from a program standpoint, how it looks is that at our Parkside Elementary, K1, K2, we use iPads in more of a cart model in the classroom. So each classroom has a cart of iPads with one iPad for every student in that room. The teacher has a tool, Apple Classroom, that they use quite often to manage those iPads, focus the kids in on one application, and just kind of control how they're using those devices in the classroom.
Can the teacher see on their device what all the students are doing on theirs, just to, if necessary, sort of bring a particular first grader or kindergartner or whatever back on task if necessary?
Yeah, with Apple Classroom, that it kind of gives them a little thumbnail view of what each one is looking at, so they can kind of control the classroom better with that. So kind of a neat feature of those devices. And we manage all the apps on those devices as well, so we can push down app updates or new applications to those devices very easily. Okay. Over at our Westside Elementary, we use a different device. It's a Windows device. It's more of a touch flip, where they're able to use it as a touchscreen, has a keyboard. They can create content with that, and I think that's the difference. At Westside, they start learning about keyboarding and Word and Excel, those tools, so they are using more of a content creation device there. We still have them in carts in that building, so there's a device for every student in the classroom. They're all charged and ready for them to use during the day, but they don't take them home, but they use those devices there. Moving to our middle school, they all have their own device, and we have the same touch flip devices, and now students start taking them home. Okay. From 5th grade through 12th grade. They take devices home daily. A lot of our teachers are using digital curriculum that they can access those resources anytime, anywhere to complete the work. So, and all of our staff are running Windows 10 laptops that are constantly managed through the cloud and kept up to date through that process as well. We have a private fiber network that connects all of our buildings and all of our resources together with over 190 wireless access points, and regularly we have over 3,000 connected users on the network. So.
I'm sure between students and staff and everything, absolutely.
Yeah.
So. So at the last school board meeting, a variety of different things happened, and one of the things that you two shared was about Office 365 and some data and statistics about that. Tell us a little bit more about that. Let's talk about that for a second.
Sure. Office 365 is a subscription-based service that includes all the common applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, but also includes features such as Exchange Online, OneDrive for Business, SharePoint Online, to name a few. In the industry, it's commonly referred to as cloud computing because we're basically logging in and using these resources in the cloud.
Okay.
I think the confusion behind Office 365 is it's not just a single product, but rather a suite of products that you have access to. It's a subscription-based model. Because it's a per-user licensing, you can log on using your account from anywhere on any device at any time. So it's really flexible in terms of how you can use Office 365. You can even log into your Office 365 on your phone and complete a document on your phone if need be. So it really gives our staff and students flexibility to do that anytime, anywhere, learning.
So the days of the old thumb drive, they still exist, but with the cloud availability of everything, the Office suite and many of our files, we no longer have to, if we're going to go somewhere for a day or two, we don't have to download files onto a thumb drive. Hope that we'll be able to find the thumb drive. Now we have access to it, like you said, anytime, anywhere, which is definitely an advantage. Okay. So let's shift gears just a little bit, and then we'll get into some of the specifics. We obviously want to get feedback about, and I know you do often, feedback about how things are going. And I think the most recent survey results from our staff and students showed a pretty high level of satisfaction with the troubleshooting and support that we have. Can you talk a little bit about what is available in the district and maybe make sure and mention names, because I feel like all of our technology staff do a great job, but it's an opportunity just to make sure that folks know who does what in our district and why it's important and what they do. Sure.
You know, schools for years have had the Media Center be the go-to place for help when looking for resources and information. We continued that model with our tech support. So the Media Center is a staff and students' first stop for support with their devices. The Media Center staff at each one of the buildings have been extremely helpful, and when they run into a technical solution that they can't solve, we have a technology ticketing system that they can put in a ticket for additional help.
Online, correct?
Yep, online. And I have Kent Powell and Nicholas Esping that are my technicians that get those messages on their phone, and they're quick to respond to a lot of those messages right away. Additionally, our technology integrationist, Karen, is officed in the Media Center and is available as a resource to staff and students in our buildings as well. So I really feel that success with technology is 80% people, and having those skills to help them with the use of technology, and 20% technology itself. And I know that we have great staff throughout the district that help with that. Yeah, we really do. Karen, anything to add?
Yeah, I think Todd covered it very well. We like he said, we have great Media Center staff as our first line of defense, and they are wonderful to help our students.
Good. So, Todd, I want to go back to something you referenced. A lot of times we'll have 3,000 devices, give or take, kind of logged into our network. With the potential for 3,000 or more devices at one time, how do we know everything is working? Not just the infrastructure, but our different aspects of our program in general. How do we know that everything is working the way that we want it to? Right. We have really multiple solutions in place to monitor when things are working properly. Office 365 provides us with a dashboard that monitors availability and usage. But one of my favorites is a tool that we have in the tech department that's called PRTG. It's a program that
knows about all the nodes on the network and monitors them for availability and usage. And as soon as one of the switches go down in a building, I get an alert right away on that. It sends me a text message and an email, so that oftentimes I know about an outage before the phone starts ringing.
Wow.
And it also, that tool gives us usage information too. So if there's heavy traffic that's happening on a portion of the network, I know it says unusual traffic. It will give me an alert as to that type of activity as well. So that's helpful, so that I can say, hey, something's strange going on in this building.
Right.
You know, are they having an issue over there with access, or what's going on?
So a lot of monitoring and almost instant communications in terms of text messages and or phone calls to let you know that, or let everyone know, others too, that things aren't working right, or there's something to keep an eye on, or something like that. Which, like I mentioned earlier, when things aren't working right, people kind of go into a panic mode a little bit, and the quicker the response time and troubleshooting, the better for everyone involved. Absolutely. Okay. A few months ago, we had the opportunity to sort of do some promotional and marketing work with Windows 10 and S mode, something new. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and what grades we're using it in, and why it's good?
Sure. So Windows 10 and S mode is an operating system mode that Microsoft has made available that appears very similar to traditional Windows 10, but is streamlined for enhanced security.
Okay.
The devices themselves are about half the cost of the traditional Windows 10 devices. But I think the difference is the Windows 10 and S mode devices require you to install applications from the Windows Store, and only from the Windows Store.
Okay.
And what's good about that is the apps are kind of pre-vetted by Microsoft and pre-approved by Microsoft for those devices. But it does kind of limit certain applications. But because it is streamlined, the device has a longer battery life. It remains as fast on day 200 as it was on day 1, because you're not loading a lot of extra stuff on the devices.
Stuff that slows down the operating program, so to speak, almost.
Yep. So it stays secure because those apps have to be pre-approved when they're loaded on there. We also manage them through the cloud, so we can add applications to the devices very easily, change settings on those devices very easily. So in my mind, we get more management of those devices than we have with the other devices, and they just remain more consistent in terms of their speed and their availability for students. A lot of our resources, as we mentioned before, are online or using the Office 365 tools. All those tools are available on these devices as well.
Really good stuff that you hit on there, Todd. You talked about affordability and the cost being significantly less for the devices that operate the Windows 10 and S mode. I know that was something you and I talked extensively about, not, I'll say, getting bogged down in common terms, if you will, that many of us understand. And then the battery life also being important, in addition to the management aspect of things. What grades are these being used in?
We're using those in grades 5, 6, and 9 currently.
Do you see that expanding into other grades in the future?
I do.
Okay.
I believe next year we'll do 3 grades as well. 5, 9, and I believe 11. We'll be doing those in. And again, I think the advantage here is the simplicity of the device, the cost factor, and it's streamlined for education. I really like them.
Absolutely. So again, I'm Scott Munson, Superintendent at Marshall, having the opportunity to talk technology with Todd Pickthorn and Karen Londgren, share some information about various aspects of our technology program. One of the important things about anything or almost everything that we do in our school district is to make sure we're looking at it with a almost a critical eye, but an eye towards continuing to improve. How do we get feedback from our students and our staff about certainly their devices, but everything that they have access to and are using? What are some of the ways that we get that feedback, and what do we do with that feedback?
Well, each year in approximately January, we survey all of our pre-K through 12 staff, as well as our 5th through 12th grade students, because
Okay.
those are the ones that take devices home,
Yeah.
and asking them about our technology program. These surveys allow us to gather input and feedback on what's going well, maybe what's not going so well, and how the devices and resources are being used in the classroom. We use the results of the surveys to make adjustments and improvements then to our program. We want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the teaching staff as well as the students. These surveys also allow staff the opportunity to provide us input for professional development opportunities.
Sure.
Where they might need some more training or more support as well.
One of the things, if I remember correctly, and I might be off on my numbers a little bit, but one of the things that was shared at the last school board meeting is that from the surveys, so grades 5 through 12, I believe 96+% of our students indicated that they have internet or Wi-Fi at home, which is really important for us to continue to make sure we hone in on that number. I think somebody had said, well, does that mean that a student might have said yes, but if their smartphone is a hotspot, is that really internet? It is, but we also know with data limits and things like that, that's a challenge. So I appreciated sort of hearing that, and that's a number that we can build off of. Karen, you mentioned staff development, professional development, and growth for our staff in general. What are some things that we've offered our staff? Obviously, giving them access to technologies and tools and programs and the infrastructure and support is crucial, but yet we all know that if we don't know how to use it and don't have that comfort level to be able to delve into it and roll our sleeves up and instruct with it and help kids learn with it, it's not going to be as effective. So how are we supporting our staff through professional development?
Well, our district provides time and resources for staff to attend technology training sessions, workshops, conferences, and in-service trainings that are dedicated to promoting the use and infusion of technology into all areas of the curriculum. Some of the ways that we do that is I do individual and small group coaching sessions. So those small groups may consist of either a team of language arts teachers or a grade level group that I'm working with. And the sessions will vary in length depending on the need of the staff. And they're offered oftentimes before or after school. I offer some opportunities during the day for doing some integration into the curriculum or creating digital content, as well as after school hours. I offer sessions for staff to come in, and it's a training / work session where they can really dig in and create content and get something done that they can take right back to the classroom and use. We use both online format and instructor-led format.
Okay.
For training opportunities, and where it's applicable, we may be sending staff to outside conferences or workshops as well. Truly, the PD opportunities we look to focus on are key components that the district is standardized on, our Office 365, our Schoology learning management system. But we do use other tools and resources as well, and we support those in the various curriculum areas and tailor those to the curriculum needs. Teachers are increasingly relying on these technology tools to deliver their curriculum content, so they need to be confident knowing that the materials will be accessible and that they have support. And according to our most recent survey in January, 100% of our staff that responded felt supported.
Which is so crucial, like I just referenced. If they have that confidence to be able to utilize those tools to make teaching and learning even better, they're going to use them, and teaching and learning is going to be better, versus if they don't have that confidence, it's a scary thing, obviously. And technology can be, at times, a little bit overwhelming to folks, so kudos to to everyone in the tech department and everything that you're doing, Karen.
Thank you.
One of the very interesting things among many, and the technology presentation at the school board meeting was really impressive, but the school board and I had the opportunity to participate in I think it was called a Google expedition, where we had the goggles on and everything. Talk a little bit about that, because that was the first one I'd ever done, or first time I'd ever worn goggles that weren't ski or snowmobile goggles, honestly. So talk a little bit about that and how that's a tool maybe in what we're trying to do with students and staff.
Sure. Well, Google Expeditions is an immersive education app that allows teachers and students to explore the world through over 800 virtual reality and 100 augmented reality tours. Teachers can guide students on a virtual field trip to many parts of the world without leaving the classroom. So this is done by students wearing virtual reality goggles that show them around the expedition that the teacher leads. This allows the students the ability to virtually see other parts of the world without leaving the classroom. We applied for a grant with Minnesota Telemedia that provides Marshall Public Schools with 3 of these VR classroom kits with 10 goggles per set. These kits are distributed to Westside, the middle school, and the high school. Students are very excited when using these goggles. As you saw, it's very immersive. It's like you're there. And they just get really excited about using that technology in the classroom.
I know it, and with all due respect to the school board, that was one of the most interesting and engaging parts of any school board meeting that I've been a part of, just because, like you said, it's like you're there. The example that Tammy Dulas ran us through, the board and I, was looking at different planets, and it was like being in a planetarium, except you just had goggles on. And even the cost savings aspect of that is valuable. We couldn't send students to a planetarium. We couldn't send them to different countries or different places, but it was very realistic, I felt. And then as she was sort of narrating in the background, and the arrow was pointing to a particular planet that we had to look at, and she would talk about that, and then it would point to a different direction, and we had to turn in our chairs. I'm sure we all looked really goofy, but very engaging, and we know that students need to be engaged now. That's a real key. That's something we look for when we go in classrooms, is the engagement level of students. So that was really exciting, and the number of different expeditions that you talked about was impressive too. So as we wrap up here, is there anything else that we think or you think is important to sort of share with folks to help them get an even better understanding of our technology program, and making sure that everyone understands it's more than just the devices? Technology doesn't take the place of teaching and learning, but it really helps facilitate that better. Are there other points that we want to make before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think I'll just reaffirm our goal. The goal of the Marshall Public Schools Technology Department is to ultimately use technology to accelerate learning. We just really want it to accelerate their learning and inspire them to be more creative and critical thinkers.
Awesome. Karen, Todd, I appreciate both of you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and record this segment with me. We always appreciate the opportunity to do the Tiger Talk TV episodes, share some interesting and informative information about various programs, today obviously being technology. Kudos to both of you and everyone in the media centers, certainly the troubleshooters, the tech guys as we call them, and everyone else who plays such an important role in that. I think now we're in our 5th year of the one-to-one rollout program. Every student K through 12 having their own device or access to their own device. Definitely a positive direction that we've gone, and the growth that the technology department has helped us see, and the changes that have been implemented have been impressive. So thanks again for being here and for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day, and thank you for taking time to watch this.
Thank you.